Hey, Gary. Um, I'm just going to get started. I've got about 2 hours, and I don't know if I'll take up all that time, but I'm going to start talking. Yesterday, uh, one of our participants, I've been bothered. Somebody asked me, why did I get so upset? And I think the core of it is the story doesn't make sense, but I don't want to question that. Lots of times people's thought processes don't make sense. But one of the questions he asked, he said, well, a lot of things have to go right for Railtown to make money. And he could use his 18 grand to make 5 grand a month, which I have to admit, it's pretty powerful rate of return. But I don't think his assumption is correct. I actually think it's the opposite. I think a lot of things would have to go wrong. A lot of things would have to go very poorly for Railtown not to make. I mean, I didn't have this redrawn today, but we're in Railtown at the R&D pricing. We're at the pre-market, the pre-money pricing at 50 cents. And the attorneys, there's a term in dating that I won't explain, but the attorneys have blocked this stock from being able, the company from being able to do a full court press, from the stock to freely trade and find price discovery to the extent in the corrupt markets it can. Why? Because it is in a quiet period. All of the buyers associated with Railtown, all of the big investors associated with AI partnerships, all of the investors associated with 165 companies underneath the network, or a large part of them, everybody involved with Omers and Mavericks and Canaccord Genuity, who have any kind of information on this acquisition that the attorneys are dragging their feet on, can't buy the stock. And I would submit to you that is millions, tens of millions of shares cannot be purchased because the attorneys take forever. It's just how it is. You know, you didn't know it, but if you get through law school and you get to hang your shingle as an attorney, you're better than everybody else. You can charge for, breathing. You can charge money for being on an aircraft, driving, walking to work, having a bologna sandwich at lunch. You can charge for your thoughts. You can charge for time. You can make up the time. You can play badminton with the other side for 2 months, and both sides can charge their client. You're God, basically, when you're an attorney. But until the attorneys get finished, there's also a pressure downward on the stock, because the shorts apparently established 46 million shares of sales, which didn't exist, shares that didn't exist. How much has been crossed or hedged, who knows, but it's a significant number, and they continue to do that. So there's the pressure downward on the stock, and nobody can buy it. And so what we've chosen to do is, well, it's September, it's time to buy a machine, and I better get out of it because a lot of things have to go right. Well, I'd say that's looking a gift horse in the mouth, because the fact is This has been giving us a chance to acquire the stock. Now, once this comes off, where should the stock be on its progression? We'll try to talk about that now. But I think $5 is an easy target. Easy target. An easy target. Out of the gate. What do you mean out of the gate? I don't mean, maybe it's the first hour, maybe it's the first day, maybe it's the first week, maybe it's the first month. But very soon, and for the rest of our lives, Railtown will be a $5 stock or better. My opinion. But the point made was a lot of things have to go right for that to occur. Well, I don't agree with that. Why? Because for 6 months, they've been working on everything. I would argue things would have to go wrong for $5 not to occur. Well, don't you call the attorneys taking more and more time something going wrong? No, just because we're all on electric ends of our trading energy. We've got to go. We heard Energy Vault's going to go up. It's doubled. Energy Vault's doubled in 2 months. We should be over there. And National Mountain from China is going to go into the hundreds, and G-Bucks is going to 150, and Finger Motion by tomorrow is going to break out. I mean, there's things we got to be places. Well, I guess in that sense, delays, depending on your approach, delays are either good or bad. I would argue that delays in Railtown tying up our money a little longer probably are good if you're hopping from one hot story to the next. You're going to lose your money. I mean, you might be the one person, hey, I did the Lido shuffle, and I got out at Railtown at 65 cents. I bought Energy Vault at $1.10, and now Energy Vault's $2.09, and I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to buy back Railtown at 50 cents. Well, good for you if you did that. I doubt very many people were able to do that, but maybe somebody did. But that's still taking a lot of risk. It's just because it worked out doesn't mean you didn't take a lot of risk. All right, let me just tell you where we are on Railtown. We have 11, even though that guy sold 40,000 shares, we have 11,869,000. We have over 200 people joining in. And according to Yahoo, we're at 8.5%, but I think it's lower. But I'm going to go through that right now with you. It'll take a little while, and I'll try to get an updated. It'll be a lot lower than 8.5 because there's more shares outstanding, fully diluted, according to the most recent filing. And I didn't win because it went to 1.8 billion. I don't know why I didn't play the 1.8 billion, but I didn't. All right, so let me just show you a couple of things. Hi, Fernando, and hi, DMAC. I don't expect a lot of people to watch, but what I do expect is that if the attorneys continue to delay, I think the shorts are going to try to get Railtown down, and they're going to keep doing it while the attorneys continue to drift about in their rarefied air and self-importance. But we'll get through it. It will end. It will end. Hey, Fast Eddie. All right, let me just show you a couple of things. I've got a bunch to go through, so I want to start. Okay, one thing that has to be a question. The gentleman that sold his 40,000 shares clearly believes, according to him, which doesn't quite measure up, but according to him, he's been in it 6 months. Well, he's a wealthy guy. He doesn't need the money. So I wonder, why would you make it all the way through the dog days of August, and as soon as you get into September, not allowing for people to get back to their desks from vacation, why would you sell it then? Doesn't make sense to me, but that was his choice, because he clearly didn't believe that 6 months of time from the February 11th announcement of the acquisition pending LOI was good for the story. And as he said, a lot of things have to go right. Well, I'd say that's a not for nothing point of view. It doesn't reflect the situation, but it's a point of view. It's, people voted, particularly women, voted for George W. Bush because he was cute. So people make decisions for all sorts of reasons. So what would a delay of 6 months mean from an attorney's point of view, a regulator's point of view, a corporate boardroom's point of view? What would 6 months of delay mean? Well, the first 30 days, I think you can write off to regulatory approval, but I don't know when you should start that clock. But I think you can give at least 30 days to that. I think you probably can give 30 to 60 days to regulatory approval in Canada. That may overlap some of the other timing. Another bit is you've got people that met each other at a conference. Dr. Tom Core, Corey Brandolini, Mike Nobrega, Marwan Haddad, the guy from IBM, others, the Canaccord banksters. You got a bunch of them. Well, you say, why don't we get married? And the attorneys say, well, you need a prenup. They say, no, we're in love. Let's just do it. Attorneys say, no, you need 51% vote, and you got to have an airtight document. And you've got to make sure that what you're buying is what you're buying, and that child over there belongs to you and not somebody else. So let's get the documents done correctly. All right, we'll do that. Okay, well, first issue is who's going to own what? What are you going to pay? What is Railtown going to pay for a loosely connected network of 165, I suppose, fee-paying companies when AI Partners doesn't really own anything? Are you going to give John Ruffalo and Dr. Tom Core nothing, a de minimis percentage of the NewCo? No. They're bringing their expertise. They're bringing 160 companies. Attorneys say, well, how do you know those 160 companies are going to stay with the new agglomeration? Well, The principals are staying. But you don't know that child is your child. Let's make sure. Let's run a DNA test. Let's get some documents here. And we need the prenup. So attorneys say, you know what? Why don't you go after those 160 companies and make sure they're going to come along? Make sure the top 20% of those in the I think it's Pareto optimal rule, but the 80-20 rule, why don't you get 80% of that revenue locked up? And let's do it before the marriage. All right. What do you need? Well, you got to get each of those boards to each of those 30 companies or 35 companies. And hopefully we get them all to sign an agreement to stay with the new co. And hopefully we can get a pre-arrangement on the best companies to roll them up right away aggressively. All right, we'll do that. How are we going to allocate? How are we going to allocate value? How are we going to allocate percentages? Well, on the one hand, if AI Partners stayed all by its own and tried to roll up these companies, they'd have to, at least initially, be really good salesmen and say, look, we're putting it together. It's our idea and we have the skill, but you guys have the revenue, but we want a big piece of the new co. And the revenue guys say, well, wait a minute. We're the ones bringing the revenue. We don't want you to have very much. I have no idea what would happen, but let's say as AI Partners is now, John and Dr. Core, I'm making it up because I'm not part of the negotiations. Maybe they only end up with 10 or 15% of AIP when it has all these roll-ups, kind of like a typical, pretty generous arrangement for a shell. So you got that on one side, but on the other hand, you've got Railtown with Conductor, which is a smash hit. It's She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's taking the world by storm. So if you bring Railtown in to buy AI Partners, all of a sudden, Dr. Tom Core and John Ruffalo and Mike Norbrega et al., they're in a better position when they go to negotiate with the network of companies to acquire each one by one. So maybe the strength of Railtown is giving power to these guys so they can own more of the company. And maybe that doubles their ownership from 15% to 30%. And then Railtown has the Conductor, which I'll show you, but they have to have revenue already. We just don't know about it. We don't know these discussions, but I tell you, the attorneys and the boards and the businessmen and women are all thinking about this. What is the valuation of AI partnerships? What is the valuation of Railtown? What are the collective and independent valuations of all those companies? How much time does that take? How much time does it take to analyze the value of AI Partners, the value of Railtown, particularly as Railtown seems to be rapidly growing from their press releases, and the market is hot, hot, hot. Olay, olay. Feeling hot, hot, hot. It's moving target. So that takes time. It's not done overnight. It takes time. And what if they lock it down and it moves again? And the attorneys say, we got to start all over. What if, as the attorneys get the paperwork locked up and the agreements locked up, and you need signatures from every board member or assents from every board member at Railtown, at AI Partnerships, and then from a majority of those underlying companies? I don't know the demands. Could be hundreds of assents you need, but then it's a moving thing. So you have to go recheck everything. I'm not an attorney, thank God. I was going to say I have a sense of humor, but then I realized I've lost it. Anyway, I'd say 1 to 2 months for regulatory approval. How many months would it take to get a valuation of all the parties involved? And how many months would it take to negotiate who gets what in the combined company? I'd say at least 45 days. Probably more like 90 days. So maybe 3 months of that. And it could overlap. But let's just say 90 days from February 11th. That takes us to March 11th, April 11th, May 11th. That's 90 days. So then what could happen? Well, the business could be growing. I've shown you, and I'll try to show you a little bit here. I've shown you that Canadian governments and businesses are focused collectively on making AI part of the national pride, part of the economic engine of Canada. And I've shown you where John Ruffalo had meetings at his, I guess, home, but it might have been his office, with the top business people, men and women of Canada, in the AI space, the technology space. I've shown all that to you. Well, it could be a moving target. And this gentleman who decides to chicken out, which respectfully, if you can take 18 grand and make 5 grand a month, it's pretty good, if that's true. I guess it is. No reason to doubt it. On the other hand, a guy like me would say, and maybe that's the flaw, maybe that's why he's married and happy and wealthy, and I'm still trying to get laid in the 90s. I would ask, you made it through June, you made it through July, you made it through August. Why the hell are you selling in the first week of September? When September's when the action starts. And if you can buy one machine for 18,000 that gives you 5 grand a month, why not wait a couple of weeks, 4 weeks? We don't exactly know. It could take longer. But if you have the potential, you might be able to buy 10 of those machines. And instead of making 5 grand a month, you're making 50 grand a month for the same number of shares. The only thing can be doubt. And he said it. He said if there's no news, the stock's going to 20 cents. I don't know where he comes up with that. I'm starting to think he's a bit of a... Well, anyway, let's leave his motivations out. So let's break it down into a question of why, first, why are the attorneys taking so long? I can only think of three broad reasons. I can only think of three reasons, really broadly. Why would the attorneys be taking so long? It could be that they're incompetent. They might be real estate attorneys. They might be divorce court attorneys who are in the space now of trying to provide securities advice. How likely is that? How likely is that? I don't think very likely. You've got seasoned men and women at Railtown and investors. You've got really guys that have gone through the fires at AI Partners and Omer's, and they're the founding backers of Constellation Software. I think they know some attorneys. I don't think they're just calling up Lisa, who works for her father and chases personal injury cases for the National Railroad. Probably they're calling up talented attorneys that they've had, securities law attorneys. So I don't think incompetency is the reason, but that gentleman might think it is. He might think that incompetence is going to lead to a disaster. And that's why it's taking so long. That might be his reason. I don't know. The next one is they could be corrupt. They could be working with the shorts. The attorneys could be in some network. Imagine a world, if you can, where the attorneys for Railtown collude with the attorneys for AI Partners and the attorneys for all the 160 companies and the attorneys of the regulars. I could believe that. And the attorneys of Canaccord. I could believe that. And they all work for the toad out of Toronto who is short 46 million shares of Railtown. And it's some massive conspiracy to defraud us of our shares. They're putting out stories about a conductor that doesn't exist, and they're putting out stories about AIP and John Ruffalo's experience, and that they backed Constellation Software, and all of it's all just made up, or it's just put together to look good. I don't know. I guess that's one thing the gentleman might be worried about. It's all just a big con job. I would have to give that slightly more than 0% odds, because I think incompetency is right at 0%. But corruption, maybe it's a 1%. But how would you get everybody involved, and how would all the press releases and all the screening and the bankers and the what do you call them, enterprise sales agreements or whatever they're called? How would you get all that signed if it's all a big Potemkin village? I don't see it. So for me, I think corruption is not the reason. So what does that leave us? What does that leave us? It's only two more possibilities. And I didn't write one of it down. I ran out of space. The deal could have fallen apart. And everyone's gotten together and there's money changing hand. And this is what the gentleman who said, I'm getting out the first week of September. I've had enough. He might be thinking that. The deal fell apart. Well, I've got two arguments against that. This research came out a year ago with a $2 target. It has nothing to do with the merger, but there's no question if for some reason the combination fell apart, the stock would initially go down. But Railtown's going to be fine all by itself. But I don't think the deal's fallen through. But I'm going to show you something in a second about the about that situation, which convinces me. It convinces me. Here, I'll show it to you right now, if I can find it. In Canada, a publicly traded company must disclose the cancellation of an acquisition if it qualifies as a material change. The decision to cancel a transaction is considered material and must be reported immediately. Let me read it to you again without leaving one word out. In Canada, a publicly traded company must disclose the cancellation of an acquisition if it qualifies as a material change. The decision to cancel a transaction is often considered material and must be reported immediately. The decision to cancel a transaction must be reported immediately. So if that gentleman is worried that the deal somehow is canceled, I guess it can be a rolling issue, but I would say it's safe to bet through the end of last week, the deal wasn't canceled because they have to announce it immediately under Canadian security laws. I mean, I guess something could happen over the weekend, but he's mixing up time with the deal falling apart. And I'm suggesting to you, as I'm about to, that time actually means the deal has gotten much better. It's just taking more work. So it's a difference of a point of view. So that leaves the third thing. The business is better. More better blues. Everything's better. You could imagine that what's going on, and I put some of the news here to go through it with you. You can imagine what's going on. When this research report came out, it was 12x multiple, and it was $3 billion target market. $3 billion target market. Well, now I would argue with you, it's become clear to everyone that the target market is 300 billion, 100 times bigger. It's also become clear to everyone involved. You just can't see it yet because the attorneys are taking their primrose time because they're so special. So the price is capped because buyers can't buy. You're saying, well, we're buying. Yeah, what I mean is the big people who have research teams who understand this and they don't get distracted by attorneys taking a longer time. These people that want to buy it have 5-year, 10-year, 15-year horizons, not hot money horizons. Hey, I'm going to miss out on Energy Vault. It's doubled in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. What's Realtown done? Well, it's a weird, it's you know, that's trading. That's not investing. That's trading, not investing. So the multiples have gone up, the market's changed, and the addressable market's bigger, and Conductor is fantastic. Apparently, John Ruffalo said, why don't you buy us? 165 companies. He didn't say that to any of the other ones. So I would argue the reason the attorneys are taking longer is that the deal's better. And there's more work and more work and more work. All right, let's try to go. I mean, you can disagree. You can go along with the guy that's already wealthy and he just decides time's up. It must be something wrong. A lot of things have to go right. Well, I want to submit to you, and I don't know how good a job I'm going to do today, but I just want to submit to you that I'd flip that all on its end. The reason it's taking so long, and August was vacation month, but the reason it's taking so long is it's actually, a lot of things are going right. A lot of things have gotten better. So I would argue a lot of things would have to go wrong for you not to get 10x on your money once the attorneys finish their work, which I think you have to plan on is going to be longer than we can stand. Attorneys, I've never met any group in my life more self-assured and more self-justifying than attorneys. They deserve it. So we got to get ready for more pain of waiting, but that's life. I still think that we should be, the deal should be completed by, I would say next Monday, but I've been wrong all this time. So I showed you this, right? I showed you. In Canada, a publicly traded company must disclose the decision to cancel a transaction and report that immediately. Well, that hasn't happened, so I don't think it's going to happen. I saw this as I was trying to bring things up. This is a company in Canada, TELUS, and they had a bunch of stories. It was a different story that tricked my, tripped my fingers, and it was about how they bought up this digital unit right here. So I went deeper into the stories and I came up with this one. But TELUS has purchased this digital unit for greater control of AI capabilities. And it's just a sign. TELUS said on Thursday it intends to acquire the shares in its listed digital services subsidiary that it does not currently own, as the Canadian telecom seeks greater control of the unit's artificial intelligence capabilities. And, this is a pretty major company focusing on AI. It confirms what I've been saying. Here they say the move underscores TELUS's push for more control of the digital unit, which helps businesses adopt AI and develop data strategies amid a worldwide push to harness the technology. Quote, our proposal to fully acquire TELUS Digital reflects our belief that closer operational proximity will enable enhanced AI capabilities and software as a service transformation across all lines of our business, unquote, TELUS CEO Darren Entwistle said. Anyway, that's just a little bit of flavor there. Let me see what else I have to show you. Oh, nightmare. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff I have to show you. All right, we'll just get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll do 9. And they'll say, boy, you sure have a lot of files. You've got to get rid of some before you can. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got them all. What's this one? This might be, oh, this is a parking permit. doesn't matter. All right. Canadian securities laws require companies to disclose material non-public information, that's MNPI, broadly to the public, not to release it selectively. The goal is to ensure all investors have equal access to this information to make informed investment decisions. And companies must avoid selective disclosure to analysts or institutional investors. Companies must avoid selective disclosure. When a material change occurs, a public news release must be issued and a formal material change report filed with the appropriate securities regulator. Securities laws in Canada are designed to protect investors by ensuring that everyone has access to the same material information at the same time. This differs from U.S. securities laws, which are designed for Canadian, American, and European funds to destroy and steal the entire market cap of over-the-counter stocks and NASDAQ stocks under $5 a share with the acquiescence of Congress, bankers, journalists, professors, oversight, regulators, on behalf of a few men. But in Canada, we try to have fair laws. So we have fair markets in Canada. Broad disclosure prevents unfair advantages for those who might receive information before the general public. A scenario which could lead to insider trading. What constitutes general disclosure? Information must be disseminated in a manner calculated to reach the investing public effectively. This typically involves a news release distributed by a widely circulated news or wire service. Press conferences or conference calls that are open to the public with adequate notice and adequate availability of transcripts also satisfy this requirement. What happens when a material change occurs? When a material change occurs, the company must issue and file a news release that immediately discloses the substance of the change. So if the deal fell through or something went materially askew, they'd have to disclose it right away. All right. Somebody said on my call that Corey has not disclosed information. And I said that I thought they had made a filing, but I couldn't find it. Well, I have found it. On August 29th, 2025, Corey Brandolini, president of Railtown AI Technologies, certifies his financial reports that he filed and his, or the company's, management discussion and analysis. Now, they filed it for a period ending June 30, but this date and the filing was done August 29, 2025. So I respectfully submit that Corey Brandolini has done his job to inform investors in the best way that he's allowed to do, and that ensures wide dissemination of public data and fair dissemination of that data as well. Now, he signed that he made no misrepresentations and that the presentation is fair. His associate, Paul Woodward, the CFO of Railtown, also on August 29, filed that he's reviewed these documents, which were filed in Canada, and he sees no misrepresentations, and it's a fair presentation. So in general, this was filed August 29, but it's for the period ended June 30, 2025. This management discussion and analysis has been prepared by management as of August 29th, 2025. So I think the company is doing what it's allowed to do in terms of providing an update. They cannot have run the risk of putting something out to a handful of Twitter aficionados or to somebody on an isolated YouTube. They've got to do it this way. They've got to file it with the regulators. So they have prepared the financial position of the company and results of operations for the period ended June 30, 2025. And this discussion should be read in conjunction with the financial statements of Railtown AI Technologies for the year ended September 30, 2024. And I actually thought they had put a report out for the end of last year, but that's the last time, roughly the end of last year, that they were able to talk with the public about their numbers, because they entered into the agreement February 11th. The condensed interim financial statements have been prepared in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards using Accounting Standards 34. It's all Canadian money. The company was incorporated under the Business Corporations Act on May 11th, 2011, which was just 90 days after Fukushima Daiichi, I think. That was March 11th, 2011. Anyway, and was classified as a capital pool company as defined by the TSX Venture Exchange. The company did not complete its IPO at the time. It maintained its reporting issuer status and was no longer classified as a capital pool company. On August 15, 2019, the company changed its name to Railtown AI Technologies. On November 1, 2019, the company entered into a technology transfer agreement acquiring from certain vendors the rights to software technology, the development and subsequent commercialization of which became the company's ongoing business. The company is located in British Columbia, and the company has developed a proprietary application general intelligence model, which is called Conductor. Railtown has developed a proprietary application general intelligence model, Conductor. Railtown AGI Conductor 1. I guess these are the highlights of the first iteration. Bullet point: ingestion of all forms of development and application data. For example, tickets to builds and deployments to logs. Bullet point: development of an AGI model that understands all aspects of software development. It is always available to assist users by answering questions related to their project, automate simple tasks like progress reports, release notes, onboarding, and can also understand and make sense of events like bug discovery, root cause understanding, and ticket matching. That was Railtown AGI Conductor 1. Then they have Railtown AGI Conductor 2. Railtown AGI model integrates with all data sources and can streamline, manage, and automate all aspects of development and the continuous integration and continuous deployment process. So it automates all aspects of development and this other CI/CD process. Bullet point: not only can Railtown AGI Conductor 2 understand and respond to information ingested into the model, Conductor, but also it can act by pushing data and decisions back into integrations. For example, generate tickets automatically, write and test bug fixes, update infrastructure settings, etc. Bullet point: working towards complete automation of the entire process through additional integrations such as code, co-pilots, and infrastructure and deployment management, multi-step reasoning, and higher order insights, increased efficiency, and increased velocity. That's just an incomplete statement. They just listed that with no further reference. But I guess they mean they're working toward multi-step reasoning, higher order insights, and increased efficiency and increased velocity. Railtown AGI Conductor 3. Additional functionality is focused around source code integration and understanding I don't know what it says, action, and orchestrating sequences of actions to accomplish specific goals to improve developer and learning, I guess. I can't read the rest of it, but you get the general idea. All right. This functionality will enable teams to identify and resolve issues earlier in the development process and will allow them to move more quickly. Next bullet point, the conductor will be able to pinpoint specific root causes of encountered errors within the code base, associated library dependencies, or deployment environment. It will be able to analyze the source code and identify some potential bugs before the code is even deployed. Once deployed, if an error were to be encountered, it can automate tasks and processes associated with fixing the error, including suggesting potential code changes that may fix the error, automatically generating pull requests and associated documentation for the fix, and then automatically spinning up a custom test environment to verify that the fix has indeed solved the problem. And then I don't know, I forget why these bold headlines are here, but we'll go through them. Deep application understanding. The system continually trains on a client's application to understand its functionalities, workflows, and underlying architecture. It also provides comprehensive knowledge to stakeholders, from developers to C-level management, but it ignores people on Twitter, through natural language prompts. Task automation. The system automates a wide range of tasks associated with the client's application, from routine and repetitive processes to more complex workflows. This automation capability can significantly increase efficiency, team velocity, while improving documentation, technical debt, and reducing manual effort. Bold print, adaptive learning. The system learns and adapts based on user interactions and changes in the application environment. The adaptive learning enables the system to continually improve its performance and remain up to date with any application modifications or updates. Monitoring and reporting. The system monitors its own performance and provides detailed reports on automated tasks, including generating executive summaries of any deployment, completed ticket sets, documentation, and technical reports, I guess. Oh, and technical debt. Sorry, I couldn't read the word. It was blocked. Forward-looking statements. This MD&A, this management discussion and analysis, may contain forward-looking statements based on current expectations and various estimate factors and assumptions, and involve known and unknown risks, uncertainties, and other factors. Forward-looking statements look into the future and provide an opinion as to the effect of certain events and trends on the business. Forward-looking statements may include words such as plans, intends, anticipates, should, estimates, expects, believes, indicates, suggests, and other similar expressions. It's important to note, unless otherwise indicated, forward-looking statements in this document describe the company's expectations as of January 28th. That's before the merger agreement, 2025. This is pretty important. I mean, you can look at it negatively, but you can also say to yourself, you know, that's a heck of a lot of good things happening since February 11th. Readers are cautioned not to place undue reliance on these statements, as everything could be untrue. Going concern. As of June 30, 2025, the company is not able to finance day-to-day activities through operations. They don't have any revenues that they can tell you about. The company is in the business of research and development that by its nature involves a high degree of risk. That's what it's priced for. It's in the R&D stage. That's what you're buying shares for, the price. There can be no assurance that the company's business and strategy will enable it to become profitable or sustain profitability in future periods. But you have a pretty good indication. John Ruffalo, Nobrega, and Core said, we've kicked your tires. We dig your herb. Let's merge. The company's information technology systems are subject to disruption, damage, or failure from a number of sources. This may result in a material adverse effect and more words of everything that can go all down the crapper. Okay, liquidity and resources. As of June 30, 2025, the company had working capital of $175,000 as compared to the end of September of almost $500,000. During the period ended June 30, 2025, the company had cash used in operating activities of almost $3 million, cash used in investment activities of around $3,000, and cash provided by financing activities of over $2 million. Okay. I'm just trying to be thorough. Okay, 3.8. Come on. Backgrounds aren't visible. Oh, it's a background. All right, I don't know why I did that. I added the files to background, not to media. Whoa, you've got a lot of files. Let me see what I guess if I delete these. Delete. 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 All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 3 more, I think. Okay. Sorry about that. It's always the nut behind the wheel. Okay. I think this is the earliest one. Okay, so as such, the company, as of June 30, 2025, the company had cash on hand of $1.9 million versus $1.9 million in 2024. So 1.9 million Canadian might not sound like a lot, but they have cash. Then they talk about their leased office space, and they have this proposed acquisition, which I think I highlighted here. So they announced on August 29th, 2025, that they continue to have a proposed acquisition. The company has executed a memorandum of understanding for the acquisition of AI Partnerships Corp., a Toronto-based company that has established an affiliate network of over 160, primarily North American, artificial intelligence software as a service companies who provide AI-based vertical market solutions and AI development and management tools. The acquisition will create a dynamic organization that drives substantial revenue growth and scales enterprise AI solutions worldwide. Both companies, I can't see if that says were or are, I think it says are working toward finalizing a letter of intent to formalize the acquisition. This is Corey Brandolini and Paul Woodward putting out information to investors on August 29th as of June 30th. But if there were a material change since June 30th, it would have had to be announced immediately. So I think it's safe to assume as of August 29th, this proposed transaction, whereby the company has executed a memorandum of understanding for the acquisition of AI Partnerships Corp., is still ongoing, and both companies are working to a final letter of intent, and I assume binding. Then they have off-balance sheet arrangements, and they have not entered into any material off-sheet balance arrangements. The results of operations. I mean, you can look all this up. For the 9 months ended June 30, they had consulting fees of $500,000. By the way, I'm not part of that. I do not get anything. I am not being paid anything by Railtown. Zip, nada, zippo, zilch, Zed. Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Investor relations, $250,000. I'm not getting paid anything. I don't know anybody getting paid anything, or that I know of anyway. Marketing and promotion, $400,000. Professional fees, interesting. $91,000 increased, primarily attributable to increased legal services rendered during the current period associated with the company's proposed acquisition of AI Partnerships Corp. So they're spending money on getting this deal done. I think a lot of things are going right. They had office expenses cheaper than their consulting fees. They had product development de minimis, 76,000. And I assume it's because they do a lot of that with their own people. And they're also finished their R&D. They have share-based compensation of $1 million. Again, I'm not getting anything, but I'm just showing you the salaries of $1 million and travel of 50,000. The biggest changes between the two fiscal years: consulting fees, which I'm not receiving. I don't know who is. Probably that woman that runs the IR department. I don't know. I wish I were, particularly shares. I wish I were getting shares. Marketing and promotion, professional fees increased primarily because of greater legal services rendered during the current period, primarily with respect to the proposed acquisition of AI Partnerships Corp. So this is an update that confirms the deal is on. It's on the street. The deal is on. They have low product development share. This is for the quarter. Travel. You can see all this here. It's all very, I think, reasonable. I wish I were getting some share-based compensation. I'm yellows. All right. So the most important thing on this is they have no revenue. I don't know why I didn't put the yellow up there at top. They have no revenue. So it's in the R&D phase, and you're able to buy the stock pre-revenue valuations. You're able to own, hold, add, acquire Railtown Technologies, RLAIF, at a price that reflects no revenue. I mean, it's on sale. It's cheap. You're getting a pre-revenue valuation. You should be buying all you can. It's incredible. It's a gift horse. But anyway, the main thing here, they have losses, $1 million for that period of time. But it's no revenue. That's the key point. And that's why the valuation is cheap. Here's more crap. I don't want to read through it. You can look it up. Related party transaction. They paid salaries. And they had share-based compensation. You know, salaries of 300, shares 600. And then the authorized capital, here it says 142,951,000. That's more than Yahoo. But then if you want to do fully diluted, so the issued and outstanding is 142,951,483. I think that's the number we should use. But it's debatable. I wrote it down. Okay, so then they give you options, and options are for employees. And you can see here that they have a bunch of options that expire over the next 4 or 5 years, which what that means is these options will be outstanding until they get close to expiry date. Because why would you spend the money if you're going to invest right now? Why would you spend money at 25 cents when you can buy all you can in the open market, maybe at $1, without losing this right? And later on you can do it. But anyway, small amounts of money will come into the company as these options are exercised. And these are the warrants outstanding. These are usually associated with financings. So you have two sets, one right up here and one down here, that are expiring this year, one at 24 cents and one at 30 cents, November 16th and December 7th. And that'll be $1.5 million to my rough calculation. Then next year, there's a bunch more at lower prices. And it's a total of 24 million warrants. But these aren't publicly traded, and they're not in the hands of toxic financiers. I always do that. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right, so I go here. All right. Trying to be thorough with this so that Tony De Niro can't say, just check the filings. You got to deal with somebody that looks at the filings like I do. All right, so I guess this is the earliest picture. All right, so fully diluted, though, that's another number, 174,000 million, 168, 145, which is basically the number I've been using in my calculations of stock, but I guess I should start using 200 million just to be conservative. Assets. Well, about $1.5 million worth of assets, US. Liabilities, probably mostly rent, and I guess some trades. Oh, and they have a derivative liability, I guess, from a convertible note. So the shareholder equity is very small as calculated here. And again, this is why you're able to buy the stock so inexpensively. Anyway, when you sum it all up, it's right there. And then they have all of this expenses, it's not worth going through them, but there are consulting fees. I'm not receiving anything from the company. There's filing and interest, investor relations, and salaries. Anyway, it all comes down, they're not making any money. But that's why you're able to buy it so inexpensively. And here's operating activities. Net loss for the period, $3.5 million. And you can see some of the breakdowns here. If you want to read it more detail, look it up your own self. This is share capital, same thing. I don't really want to go through all of that. This is a bunch of wording, which you can look up, talking about their accounting and the nature of their operations. I don't think it helps us today at all. These are accounting policies, same difference. I wouldn't know what it means anyway. I'm not an accountant. And then convertible bonds on November 16th, 2022, the company closed a convertible financing. It was non-brokered, so it didn't involve one of these corrupt groups. And it was only $600,000, and it paid 10%, and it converted at 15 cents a share. So that's out there. It's not the best financing in the world, but who knows what the situation was at the time. This describes the convertible note. There was a finder's fee for 40 grand. It explains the derivative liability. They paid out 100,000 shares to somebody as a referral fee. Pretty nice stuff if you can get it. But I don't want to spend a whole lot. You can go look this up. So they have this liability component, which I don't know how you calculate, but it's there. And I don't want to spend time going through it because anything I say about it will probably be wrong. I've got to finish soon because I got to go to 6 o'clock. Okay. They put it all there. You can go get it. It's all the shares issued. I just don't really want to spend time on it. The share capital and options, it's all disclosed. I'm putting this here just to be thorough and let you know the company's telling you. Here's a discussion of the derivative, the number of warrants, and you've seen some of this number. I don't want to get buried in it. Obviously, there's the life of the warrant, the dividend yield. They compare it to the safe yield to come up with the derivative obligation and the derivative liability. Here's the warrants outstanding. Again, you've seen it. But I'm just trying to show you that there's been a pretty thorough management discussion put out there. You see it right here, derivative liability. It's just an accounting entry, really. Yeah, more accounting I can't explain. And financial risk management. And then just to finish up so that Tony De Niro knows about it, management's objective is to manage its capital to ensure that there are adequate capital resources to safeguard the company's ability to continue as a going concern through the optimization of its capital structure. I think I've only got one more set of these to do. I hope. All right, so these are just quickly, these are the news announcements the company has come out with. I show it to you. One, the company is informing you in the way it's allowed to. Broad dissemination of information. The CEO can't come on and talk to me or talk to a handful of investors, even if it's 100 investors, without violating securities laws. CEOs have to follow the law, the criminals don't. But just we'll go through them very quickly. I didn't type out the whole thing. I just went headline by headline in reverse order. Railtown and AI Partners partner with Bryant. This is July 28th. And they announced this together. Now, what's missing is how much revenue is expected. Well, is that bad that it's missing? Or is it potentially very good once the attorneys finish their documentation? The company can come back and address and speak to the revenues that are potential of all of these. But until then, it's a quiet period. So is that a signal that a lot of things have to go right? Or is it a signal to me that a lot of things have gone right? It's just a matter of getting the attorneys out of the way. And then we can see what went right. I think Railtown's at a situation where a lot of things would have to go wrong. And remember, this deal right here, it has AI Partners, but it is also with Railtown. So if for some reason, which I don't see, the partnership, the agreement to merge fell apart, both sides make money, but it's pretty obvious they're working together. And this was dated July 28th. Railtown announces a strategic development and revenue sharing partnership with Ignite. This is good news. This isn't a lot of things having to go right. This has gone right. They just can't talk about the revenue with you because the attorneys are squashing all ability to make any announcements as this transaction goes through the attorney's maw. Anyway, that's pretty good news. It's pretty good sign that things are going right. And I again tell you, a lot would have to go wrong for this to fall apart. And this is a non-brokered private placement, which you all know about $500,000 US. Oh, no, it is US, $600,000 US. And they announced that. So they're keeping you up to date on their financings. They announced a strategic partnership with Quantum IQ. Again, this is good. This is a lot of things going right. But they haven't been able to talk about the revenue because the attorneys have quashed information flow. Railtown announces a strategic partnership with ESG AI Technologies. This is a lot of things going right. And how many more are in the pipeline? Do you think these are the only 4? Maybe. But we can't see the revenue because the lawyers have their rather rounded behinds sitting on top of all information. This is June 2nd. Railtown announces commercialization of groundbreaking developer frameworks, Lang tracks and rail tracks. They proudly announced the commercialization. What does commercialization means? Revenue generating, but you're still able to buy the stock pre-revenue. This is an announcement that these are commercial products. They're going to generate revenue. That's a lot of things going right. Stating another way, a lot of things would have to go wrong for you not to make money once the attorneys wrap up their job. Proudly announces the commercialization of its 2 powerful developer frameworks, Lang Tracks and Rail Tracks, developed by Railtown AI Tool Co. Significant milestone, empowers developers with cutting-edge AI tools. There's a lot of things going right. Railtown AI Technologies to present at Lang Tracks Agentic Framework. To present Lang Tracks Agentic Framework at Upper Bound 2025. They're keeping you informed of that. But that is marketing. That's leading to revenue. And you're still able to buy the stock pre-revenue prices. And you're getting scared out of it because an arbitrary time frame, September, arbitrarily, it must be that a lot of things have to go right. Well, there's a lot of things going right. And there's a lot of communication with investors. And then on May 21, Railtown Technologies launches powerful Visual Studio extension to supercharge developer productivity with AI. Now, this Visual Studio extension, I think, is a product that's going to be commercialized. And I think Lang Tracks and Rail Tracks are. But you're still buying as if these are not generating revenue. And maybe they're not yet, but I think they probably have. And then we finally get to the announcement that put everything on hold. Railtown Technologies announces MOU to acquire AI partnerships. And that's where the Shorts computers just start selling automatically stock that doesn't exist. And I've explained that before. They win if the stock goes down and the deal gets broken up because everyone sells. They win if the stock goes down and the deal goes forward and the bankers have to issue more shares to make both sides happy, or at least the acquired side happy, and they win in that case. The other way the shorts win is when the banker, and Canaccord, make no mistake about it, is active with short sellers. Canaccord could cross the money that they create out of thin air by selling stock that doesn't exist in their prime broker accounts, they could cross that money with newly issued shares. That's their modus operandi on the bad side. But the thing is, that's not happening here. This is a Canadian company, doesn't need the money, is not desperate, but the computers started selling, entrapping those kind of shorts. But then there's other kind of shorts that trade daily, or they do swing trades, or they hang on for a week or so. And if they can make 20 cents or 10 cents on 100,000 shares, it's better than digging ditches or making cold calls. So they're pleased to announce it has executed an MOU for the acquisition of AI Partnership, a Toronto-based company that has established an affiliate network of over 160 primarily North American AI SaaS companies that provide AI-based vertical market solutions and AI development and management tools. The acquisition will create a dynamic organization that drives substantial revenue growth and scales enterprise AI solutions worldwide. AIP's affiliate network operates in 13 countries and delivers AI-based solutions to a diverse client base across multiple industries, including fintech, healthcare, manufacturing, and supply chain management, as well as sector agnostic applications in AI development and management tools. That's a lot of things going right. The combination of Railtown AI and AIP is expected to provide both organizations with an opportunity to use Railtown AI's Conductor product as a platform of choice for AI application development and future affiliates, and they'll cross-sell to future affiliates. So they can do the development with the current affiliates and with future affiliates and end user. A fundamental objective in the establishment of AIP's affiliate network was to allow the parent company to acquire the best affiliates as part of a broader strategic roll-up strategy. That's a lot of good things going right. Oh gosh. Garcia Vega. Oh, I see where I am. I see where I am. Okay, boom. All right, just four more. AIP's affiliate network operates in 13 countries and delivers AI-based solutions to a diverse client base across multiple industries. I already read that. The combination of Railtown AI and AIP is expected to provide both organizations with an opportunity to leverage Railtown AI's Conductor product as a platform of choice for AI application development by AIP's current and future affiliates and their end users. One of the fundamental objectives in the establishment of AIP's affiliate network was to allow AIP to identify and acquire the best affiliates as part of a broader strategic roll-up strategy. The transaction is expected to provide the resulting entity the benefit of a public company structure to the extent that is a benefit, with access to capital to the extent they can find capital in the American markets without cheating, as it executes its affiliate acquisition strategy. AIP's established affiliate network provides a significant opportunity to grow recurring revenue streams through affiliate acquisitions, which could be enhanced by deploying Railtown AI's proprietary technologies across the affiliate network and its customers. Key drivers of revenue growth. Key drivers of good things happening, not bad things, key drivers of revenue growth. Will acquire the affiliates. The company plans to acquire select high-performing affiliates. And as a result of combining their product offerings, we'll be able to provide a rich suite of vertical market AI-based applications and development tools in order to meet the needs of enterprise clients. That sounds like a good thing happening. Platform integration. Railtown AI's Conductor platform could streamline AI development for affiliates and their enterprise clients, increasing adoption and productivity. Sounds like a good thing happening. Expanded partnerships with relationships already in place with major technology partners, including Mila, Amy, Microsoft, NVIDIA, AMD, and UBC. The company will continue to leverage these partnerships in order to accelerate enterprise sales and product innovation. Sounds like lots of good things happening. Recurring enterprise revenue, the integration of AI-based vertical market applications, along with AI development and management tools and services across the affiliate network, is anticipated to drive strong revenue, recurring revenue growth from long-term enterprise contracts. That sounds like a heck of a lot of things going right. Quote, this acquisition represents a transformative moment for both Railtown AI and AI Partnerships Corp. By combining our Conductor platform with AIP's extensive affiliate network and enterprise partnerships. That sounds like revenue. That sounds like a lot of things going right. We are creating a powerhouse. We are creating a powerhouse that will drive significant revenue growth and deliver innovative AI solutions to businesses worldwide. The opportunities ahead are immense. We are poised to expand our reach, to scale enterprise sales, and to accelerate innovation across industries. Together, we will shape the future of AI in ways that unlock long-term value for our shareholders. But hey, I can't wait. First week of September, I can't wait. Customers and partners, said Corey Brandolini, CEO of Railtown Technologies. Then, further quote, from its inception, AIP set out to assemble the largest network of AI solutions organizations that provide a diverse package of AI solutions that meet the needs of enterprise industry sectors that realize significant rates of return on investment from the adoption of AI-based application solutions. We found Railtown's Conductor had broad deployment relevance across the entirety of our network. With the combination of Railtown and AIP, we are excited to implement our public market vision as we seek to commence with an aggressive targeted affiliate acquisition mandate upon the conclusion of this exciting transaction, stated Dr. Tom Core, CEO of AI Partnerships Corp. That's a lot of things going right. To facilitate the acquisition, Canaccord Genuity has been engaged as the exclusive financial advisor. Both companies are working toward finalizing a letter of intent to formalize the acquisition in the coming weeks. So, you do ask, why is it taking so long? Are the attorneys incompetent? I don't think so. Are the attorneys corrupt? I mean, are they more corrupt than any other attorneys? No, I don't think so. The only other explanation is the deal fell apart. Well, the deal, if it fell apart, they'd have to announce it by now. Or that the deal's gotten so big. And you just read this, it's 160 companies, and they have the intent to aggressively acquire the best of the best. That involves a lot of prenups, a lot of DNA tests, a lot of proving, is that my kid or not? A lot of getting documents in place that we can rely upon in the future. The acquisition is expected to position the company in order to capitalize on the rapidly expanding demand for AI solutions in key sectors. The ability to provide enterprise clients with a fully integrated suite of AI tools and services gives the organization a strong competitive advantage in all markets. The leadership teams of Railtown AI and AIP are aligned in their vision to create long-term value through technology innovation and enterprise revenue growth. I just want to show you this again. The decision to cancel a transaction is material and must be reported immediately. It hasn't happened, guys and girls. Look at these valuations. Look down here. Down here. 100 million for Sierra, right here. $6 billion valuation. 100 million for Cohere. $5.5 billion valuation. 117 million here. 5.3 billion valuation. And here's one with less revenue, I think. Well, no, maybe not. That might be $1 million, and that might be $1 billion in revenue. They're at 30 billion. This is 700 million in revenue, and they're at 16 billion. Here's one here, 75 million in revenue. They've got a $5 billion valuation. Here's one at 40 million in revenue with a $3.5 million valuation. Look at this one, 10 million in revenue, 10 million. And it's valued at $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. Look at this, 500 million, valued at 75 billion. That's a lot of things going right, my friends. A lot of things going right. All right, I know not a lot of people watching, and I'm only going to go on for another 10 minutes because I've got to be somewhere. So I went over, I personally do not think the attorneys are part of some scheme to defraud us. I think they're competent, and they're probably working hard, but slowly. But I think the reason that it's taking so long is probably the marriage is bigger than they expected. Maybe the marriage is happening in Utah, and the guy's marrying not only the wife, but all of her sisters too. And it needs a lot more documentation. That's what I think is happening. All right. G. Diddy, after watching the reruns of the past two live videos, I wish to echo the sentiment of I am almost legend. Note that I liquidated 2/3 of my silver holding to invest, which I support that. I do intend, G. Diddy, to start talking about silver again, but I made a commitment once I focused on Railtown, just based on my past experience, that people don't hear me unless I am just as specific as I can be. So I thought the best way to emphasize my specificity was just to talk about only one thing, and then you can't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think all money in the speculative areas should be in Railtown, including, I understand that. I think it was Dirty Randy that pointed out that Energy Vault, he said, don't bash other people's ideas. Well, I didn't mean to bash it as a specific attack. I did, I think, say across the whole gamut, because who knows which one's going to work. And right now, a double compared to Railtown looks good. And if you were able to do the Lido shuffle, that's great. But most people don't have the time, and they wouldn't have. And who knows? If you might have been in G-Bucks going from 5 to 60 cents instead. I mean, there's no guarantee you would have chosen the right one. But, there's no question Energy Vault has done better over the last 6 to 8 weeks than Railtown. But it doesn't make my call that you should take everything in the junk, high-risk, speculative area and plop it all into Railtown. Doesn't make that call incorrect or wrong. I still stand by it. And I personally would agree with you. I think silver is a core holding. It's an investment grade holding. And I think silver's headed to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 an ounce. But over the next, I hate it. I think you could see this bloody transaction finally get concluded next week. But it could be the following week. It could be the following week. It does drive me crazy. I'm sympathetic. But if you take it in, let's say, a 1 month to 6 week time frame, the only way silver is going to give you the same return as Railtown, in my judgment, in that 6 week period, is if silver goes to $400. I don't see that happening. It could break out at any time, and it is coiled to break out. And once it breaks $52, oh my gosh, everybody will be talking about silver. And it's too bad I haven't built my position, replaced the one I had, and I haven't talked about it much. But I do want to again. But Railtown's the place to be, in my judgment, to create. Well, can I call it wealth? I don't know. Wealth incorporates a lot of things, but I think Railtown is where you go to get 10 times your money very quickly. And when it happens, it feels like I'm saying it as an overnight thing. Frankly, I looked up when I first bought it, it was in November, December last year. So I've been talking about it that long. But a lot of people are impatient because we've talked about it since June. But the company's been working on this for 6 years, approximately. So it's not overnight by any means. I just think it's mispriced. And it's priced as if the company is still in R&D and has no revenue. And as soon as the attorneys finish, I think you're going to see, and this is a guess, I showed you Bryant, Ignite, Quantum, ESG, and then 3 other products. My guess is, since they went out to all these conferences, they're going to get contracts. They're going to get revenue. But my guess is they already have revenue. But, I mean, we have no proof of that. But it just makes sense. They've already announced 4 deals and 3 products. That's 7 separate announcements. Something's up. There's a lot of things going right. Ralph, on your extended case presentation, and I trust I have in you after watching your videos, thank you for 3 years. As I mentioned previously, you are indemnified. That should be a song. You are indemnified. I am responsible for my own decisions and actions with my money. Well, I think that's right, but I take it seriously. I wouldn't be just winging it. I'm not just throwing it out there. But I don't know. It's a good question. Why do I have or feel I have such a vested interest in success? And I guess I just want everyone here to make money. That's what I want. I'd like people to get out of the ditch caused by some of these other things. And then I hope we can, and if it involves going to find a pro investor management team, which I've never really found any that I'm awed by. There's some people I would put you in touch with that can give really tremendous returns month in and month out, but I'm not ready to talk about all that, and that's down the road. And I've given public companies I have nothing to do with. We'll talk about all that down the road. But I want people to make it to the point where they have financial independence. That's what I want. And I guess mainly I want people to get in the green, and then I want the pain of the last 3 or 4 years to reflect learning, so that at whatever money was lost comes back, but then there's also a multiple on the gain. And I think it's Railtown right now, but I do think it'll be silver and oil and gas and income down the road. But right now I think it's Railtown. And well, anyway, it's getting close to when I just have to hang up. As always, thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. Much respect. Thank you, G. Diddy. That's very kind words. And here's RT. Good afternoon, sir. Looking forward to RT's upward motion in the short term and the long term. I'd imitate that muscle, but you'd find out that my muscle mass, it has diminished. Gee, Giddy, my gut feeling this is going to be an monster upside stock. I think so. All things being equal, I think it's going to be gigantic. I do wish the attorneys would finish up. I do wish that. As a guy that I respect very much said to me, it's so annoying when people are correct. It's a lot like the gentleman. He just said, it has been a long time, William. And yeah, 6 months is a long time. But I think it's because of the attorneys. I don't think it's because, hey, we're buying a law firm, or hey, we're merging with a gold company, or hey, we're buying Bitcoin through a subsidiary, or hey, we're going to catch out the shorts. It's none of that. And I want everybody to move away from all that. Jack Hamilton. Still like the story. Plenty of potential left. Well, oh, plenty of patience left. Yeah, look, I was going to say none of the potential's been used yet. It's still trading as a non-revenue company. And I don't know. Maybe they don't have any revenues. But I just read to you Brayett, Ignite, Quantum, ESG, and 3 other products other than Conductor that are commercial, and they're going out and telling their story. Man, there's got to be a pipeline. They may not have revenue, but there's got to be a pipeline. So I think it's a screaming buy. You're buying it as if the company, they just had the idea. Well, maybe if you bought it then, it would have been 20 cents or 25 cents. But it's 6 years later. They're commercial and the product is exciting. It's first mover and it works. It's battle tested. And Ruffalo, Nobrega, Core, they want to be part of it. I think it's pretty exciting. My guess about this extended time is they're trying to get all of the AI partners in the deal. That's what I think. Maybe not purchased, but they might be. You might be right. But an option to purchase, an agreement to stick with the Battlestar Galactica ragtag group as they go across space and they hit light warp so that all of the ships land in the new star sector together. And they might be papering all that up. That's what I think it is, G. Diddy. And I think it's a lot of work. Herding cats, perfect analysis. Herding cats, mixing German shepherds and Akita wolves. Patience is a virtue unless she's dying. All right, Gary Dale has, well, thank you. I made more money today than I've made all month. I'm trying to see what monetizing does. And I got $16. So that's great. Thank you, Gary. So Gary Dale up to 112. That's awesome. 112, 888. All right, 519. I'm going to sign off because I got to get somewhere by 6. And I've got to take some painkiller for my ankle. And yeah, it's, I'll be out the door. Oh, I should have been charging my phone. Darn it, I should have been charging this. See, that's the thing. When I go over, I forget to set everything up. And I've got to get my, oh, it's over there. Okay. All right, I guess I'm ready to go. I think Jim is typing something, so I'll wait till see what he says. But anyway, it's Sunday, September 7th. It's start of this new school year, start of everybody being back from work, and hopefully we'll start seeing attorney work product completed soon. I do think the company has stayed in touch with people by that filing. That's all they can really do. It's a lot of information in there. I stand by my recommendation that everything in that sort of speculative, high risk, junky day trading pot of money should all be in Railtown right now. Doesn't have to be forever, but you might be surprised how long you want to leave it there. And yesterday I went to dinner with some old friends of my sister, and they asked me what I wished for. And I'll say it now. I wish that the world can wake up and halt the genocide, the killing, the starvation, and the murder that's going on, caused by Benjamin Netanyahu and his thugs, his Nazi thugs, to an entire population trapped in Gaza Strip, 2.5 million people, up to 400 or 500 already wiped out, half of whom are children. And they don't have water, they don't have a place to sleep, they don't have food, they don't have hospitals, they don't have medicine, they can't leave, they're enticed to go to safe areas and they get shot and bombed. This is evil on a scale that's inexcusable in modern times. This is an evil equal to and probably worse because of the complicity of the United States of America, and because we look the other way. This is an evil even worse than what occurred 195, 85 years ago because of our complicity. So I pray, as I end this, I pray that the children the Palestinian children can be rescued from this horror by Donald Trump and the American administration. And I pray, if they're rescued, that they can have joy and love and peace in their childhood. All human beings deserve a happy childhood. And I hope they can get it. That's what I pray for. So I pray peace. I pray, what's this? 100 to Q2T. 100 to Q2T. Oh, you'll let me know tomorrow. Okay. All right, Jim. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. Maybe I'll come on later tonight, but I don't think so. So anyway, bottom line, I pray for peace for the children around the world, including those that are trafficked here in the United States. So I wish each of you peace as well, and we'll come back together. Hopefully, this is our week. This is our month. This is our quarter. This is our year. So cheers.